What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Palantir. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really prompting this pullback, and if this is a buy the dip moment for Palantir or not. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. Starting off, Palantir is down 7.9%, 23.75 the low, 24.87 is the high. So a lot of volatility today, 20.6 million shares being traded, 40.7 is the average. So despite the somewhat high volume for the first 1 hour of the trading day, a lot of that is not coming from institutions, as you can kind of see right here. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So in Palantir's case, you have seen a uptick in algorithmic trading as well as shorts. So institutions aren't necessarily buying the Palantir dip. As of late, there hasn't been all that much in news, no SEC filings today. There was this that did come out yesterday after hours though. So a Form 144 did signal this individual, who is a director, selling roughly 3,000 shares. Nothing really to be concerned about in my opinion, but it's big tech. Big tech unveiling their earnings, and a lot of them are eerily showing a slowdown is anticipated. So it's kind of not the best. Couple that with what Powell recently said and what Wall Street is interpreting as the Fed's just acting too slow to rate cuts. This is how you're getting a lot of fear in the broader market. And in fact, the fear and greed index is at 26. So it is about to kind of move to the extreme greed category. And also to couple everything off, you had initial jobless claims come out yesterday and non-farm payroll. Not the best data. So it kind of signals that there's a lot of just things going wrong in the broader market. And so yeah, as of right now, the market is just needing rate cuts. Clearly, as you can kind of see based off of this information. So when Powell was speaking, he did and was asked about a 50 basis point cut, on which he said it wasn't on the table. They weren't even considering it. But for the September 18th meeting, now there is a 70.5% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. Again, 2 days ago, Powell was speaking, so clearly shows that the market needs and wants this to now avoid a recession, because there's different ways to interpret rate cuts, one of which is because they combated against inflation. Second one is to avoid a recession. So now it looks like because of big tech and what they're saying, the market just wants to avoid a recession at all costs. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Like I brought up, institutions aren't necessarily buying the Palantir dip over the last several trading days because it does signal more of a technical breakdown. So on the Elliott Wave technicals, it does have a pivot point of 25.30. So for as long as Palantir is below that, then it is anticipated to get between that $22 and $23 range. So again, more of a breakdown. And while I'm actually on here, latest analyst ratings, there was one that came out today, Daniel Ives, Wedbush. So he has a 52% success rating, did reiterate his $35 price target. And so I kind of see this as weird. He has reiterated his rating more than any analyst out there. So I don't know if he's just trying to artificially pump it up, because he did a full analysis last time. I think that was like 1 month ago, saying $35, and that 50 was his kind of where he does realistically see it. And that's just the compounded growth. It's just, I don't know, it very interesting. And so I think in Palantir's case, Wall Street is just seeing Daniel Ives as now the analyst pumper. In my opinion, I could be completely wrong about that. Aside from that, you did have a $20 sell rating from Monet's Brian, who has a 68% success rating. And then aside from that, you see a couple others. So 28, 9, and then $28. So all in all, $23 is the consensus, and that does represent a roughly about 5% downside. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from all that fun stuff, right now shorts are increasing net 204,000 shares. So again, they've been very, very active today. 3.97% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 76.41 million shares. Don't get me wrong, I'm just bringing this up more so for analysis purposes. Definitely Palantir is not a squeeze play, but by them increasing on this bloodbath of a day, does signal that it's somewhat justified. On the options, a lot of money is getting into Palantir through options. So 12 million in calls, 12 million in puts. So kind of evenly divided for that. But sentiment wise, 46% of all the options being done today are optimistic and bullish, because if you kind of think about it, best time to be optimistic and buy the dip is when there is a lot of blood in the market. That's that age-old saying. So clearly some people are following that. You do see a consensus for it to be back at that $27 range by the end of next week. So there's a lot of calls for that between that $25.50 and $27. Now on the flip side, looking at puts, you do see it sub $20 by the end of next week. So a lot of volatility is anticipated right now with it at $24.19. It is trading between this S3 and this S2. So 24.39 is going to be a next strong target / resistance, and most likely will be touched today. I can see that happening. On the flip side, $22.60 is going to be the next strong support. So I really do like Palantir's growth. It is very resemblant based on even looking at future earnings by analysts. You do see a lot of good growth on earnings per share as well as revenue. So double-digit growth is anticipated every single quarter. So I think in general, Palantir is a revolutionary and groundbreaking company, but it's obviously not exempt from market circumstances, so it is getting dragged back down. In my opinion, just take note of some of these strong support and resistance points to maybe kind of correlate your buying around. So I do feel, based on the Elliott Wave technicals and just everything, 2260 might be a good entry point. But then again, in the past, Palantir has really proven that it can definitely go up very, very fast. On the actual chart itself, so it is bouncing off of that 100-day moving average. So that is kind of the saving grace today. So most likely early next week, it's just going to trade between these 2 points. So that 50-day moving average and that 100-day moving average. Stochastic, because of all this consolidation and pullback, it has reset the technical. So stochastic is at roughly 20. So it is arguably considered oversold. At the same time, you do see a number of retail investors have been getting out. So I think all in all, Palantir is a very good stock that you need to add to your watch list, but most likely, I think if you're trying to catch the exact bottom, then yeah, try and correlate around that 2260, if not a little bit lower. Like I said, options is kind of pointing to even lower lows coming next week. But yeah, there's a lot of volatility in the market, so just anticipate a lot of continued volatility and everything else. When it comes down to Palantir though, as you can kind of see based on this, so they do have their earnings next week after hours on the 5th. So that could once again even shake things up in Palantir's case, so cause a significant pullback similar to last earnings, despite very good numbers and metrics. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Have you been buying the Palantir dip? Have you been selling? Have you been doing options? What have you been doing? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.